The most forgettable team in APAC, the Charge are back better than ever with an actually pretty promising roster. But can they stand up to the top dogs of the region? Will they be as bad as before? Let's take a look. Starting with their DPS line, they retained Season 3 MVP candidate Eileen, benched Overwatch League champion Develop, and Shoizawa coming off of the back of an impressive season. Though unfortunately, he does have a back injury and cannot join the team at the moment, but will still be playing with them from Korea. I just want to start off by saying that I am incredibly high on Eileen. Despite the poor performance the Charge had, Eileen and Choi were standout players, with Choi performing to a very high level in the Tracer, though he's a bit overrated in my opinion, and Eileen continuing to pound despite having to fill in the Sombra hitscan role due to Mike Haley's sucking, where he managed to dip the likes of Shy in a game. I still regard him as a top flex DPS in the world, and Troy definitely has a lot of potential and is already a good tracer. Develop is really strong as well. We kind of haven't seen him in the league that much, but to be fair, it's hard to outperform Lip for a starting position, and he was extremely good in contenders. I think he has potential to be above average even in the ultra competitive APAC. I do have a lot of faith in these guys, but unfortunately, I'm giving them a 5.5. Well, the main reason is that Choi can't be there, and without him, they do not have a solid tracer player. I know Custis said she's being played less, but I still expect her to be good and used a lot, so his loss will definitely be felt. And I'm kind of worried about Develop, honestly. He's a really good talent, but hitscan is arguably the most stacked role in the game. In APAC alone, we have Lip, Aprita, Leave, Dia, Shy, Carpe, M3, and Fitz. They're all incredible hitscan talent, and while I think Develop is a great player, he may have difficulties matching this other talent. I will say that the Chengdu implosion gives the Charge an opportunity to grab a real star player and Leave. And frankly, a Leave Eileen DPS lineup is disgustingly good, probably at least top 5. But since that hasn't happened yet, so the Charge will get a 5.5 out of 10 for now. Next, the tank line. They have retained Rio, as well as 2020 Roll Star and MVP candidate Krong. This is an interesting tank lineup, as both are on opposite ends of the skill spectrum for me. Rio was frankly not very good last year. He did not make any standout plays, and people said he was good at not being the reason you lose games. Like, come on, just because he's not Hottie or Silver 3 doesn't mean he's good. I don't think his low-impact, passive playstyle will be very welcome in Overwatch 2. Strong, on the other hand, is very cracked, with a god-tier Sigma, and while I don't think his D.Va and Zarya are as good as his Sigma, they're still pretty great. I think he was done dirty by the Charge, and in a better team, I think he can definitely pop off. We've seen him be elite in Season 3. I'll give the tank line a 7. I know I hyped up Krong, but I am really not a fan of Rio. But Krong can definitely match the best off-tanks in the league, and is at worst above average. If they can keep Krong in at all times, this is a fantastic tank line. But I worry if Doom or something becomes meta, especially when Rio's best hero, Orisa, is basically a whole new hero at this point. Finally, we have the support line. While a bit underwhelming, they've put together a really solid squad here. They picked up the 2019 Contenders Gauntlet winner Unique from T1, as well as Molly from Shanghai's bench. Unique is honestly a really good player, who I think flew under the radar because T1 was only the 3rd best team from last year, but he's had a great history being on top Contenders teams. I'm surprised there weren't more interest in him. He's worse than the big 4 coming out of Contenders in my opinion, but he's at least league average. Molly is also a great player, and he was one of the shining stars on Chengdu in Season 3, despite the team being complete ass. There's some value in the fact that he was on Shanghai's bench while they won the season. But again, they do seem lacking in comparison to the rest of APAC. Their backline is really solid. Molly especially has potential to be above average. He's pretty crazy. But I have to give these guys a 6.5 sadly. APAC is too stacked this year. I'd say they are at least comparable to Hangzhou, Seoul, and Phillies a bit, though. Finally, the coaching. I'm not a huge fan, but they're a bit overhated. They had head coach Sungwoo and assistant coach Extra while picking up Youngjin from the Shanghai Dragons. Sungwoo isn't that bad a coach in my opinion. He was a part of the Charge that was quite poor last year, but also part of the Charge that was solidly a top 3 team in APAC in 2020. Extra and Youngjin are more questionable. Neither have had much coaching experience. In fact, Youngjin has never coached at all. But I don't think they are that bad. If Sungwoo can just be an average coach, I think that's all the squad really needs. I give this backstaff a 5 or 6. Nothing special, nothing too bad. Overall, I think Guangzhou have put together a very competitive squad for next year. But they are held back by the competitiveness of APAC. Eileen and Krong are top tier pieces, but the loss of Choisewa hurts. And Develop, Unique, and Molly are very solid players held back by the insane talent at their roles in the rest of the region. I think they'll be lower end again unfortunately, but they definitely have major upset potential, reaching all the way up to Seoul, Chengdu, and Shanghai. And they have an opportunity to massively upgrade with this Chengdu implosion. Thanks for watching, and remember to hit like and subscribe for more. I upload nearly daily Overwatch League videos, and I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs by the end of Season 5, so any subscription helps greatly. Thanks.